At the beginning of 2026, I experienced something I thought might not be possible, and that's playing Breath of the Wild in VR. And no, I don't mean like this, I mean in true first person with 6th controls, and 6 months later, the developer Crementif has pushed out 17 updates, which is a ridiculous amount of work, but I get it, because for some people, including me, this is one of the best games ever made, and in terms of the Zelda series of games, comes only second to the Ocarina of Time. Especially if you were born in the 80s, Ocarina of Time was absolutely mind-blowing, and I can't wait for the remake when it comes later this year. So I've been playing Breath of the Wild in VR for the last couple of days, and as amazing as it was the very first time, it definitely had lots of issues, and while it's not completely perfect today, it's come on leaps and bounds, and I can confidently say you can now play Breath of the Wild from start to finish in VR. In case any of you haven't played this in VR before, now is a great time to jump in, because if you use virtual desktop for your PCVR gaming, it runs incredibly smooth. However, using Metalink was a complete no-go, because I'm quite picky and I love high frame rates. So if you're going to play this, I definitely recommend using virtual desktop. Now for some technical speak on why it performs so much better than it did before. Breath of the Wild VR now hooks into the game after the post-processing instead of before. That one change fixed a ton of issues. The game no longer gets progressively brighter the longer you play. Effects that were completely broken now work fine, and the overall image quality is just noticeably cleaner. In the old version of the mod, blades of grass would cause some sort of tearing screen effect, but now this game honestly looks great. Blade transitions are in proper 3D instead of just 2D, and it feels way more natural when you're moving between areas or opening menus. Shadows are fixed too. In the old version, tree shadows were completely static, but now they actually move with the sun as you walk around. It's a small detail, but it makes Hyrule feel so much more alive. When you're standing in Hyrule in VR and you see the wind blowing through the trees with leaves and insects all around you, this game just looks more alive than ever. The inventory screen now shows Link with a proper background, saves have thumbnails, Link's arms no longer stretch around, and instead, when you look down at your body, it genuinely feels like you have Link's body. And if you move in your play space, the game actually stays with you, instead of you having to press the recenter button. There is only one issue that really does get on my nerves, but it's such a minor one overall, is the animation when you update your Sheikah slate. Due to the animation happening before the audio cue is finished, you basically see everything before you hear it. It's really minor, but when a mod like this is so close to perfection, and loving this game as much as I do, it does grate on me ever so slightly. Overall though, in terms of visuals, I think this game is now almost perfect. The other area that can cause a bit of disconnect is the cutscene cameras, because these move around while some characters are chatting, but the mod nicely recenters itself pretty quickly, and when you're climbing, the camera will sometimes clip through the environment if, for example, a cliff face is protruding outwards. Again, I feel these are only minor gripes, but we do still have some other issues that I need to tell you about. The game unfortunately crashes if you drown. Now the modder Crementif knows all about this and thought he had fixed it, and I'm sure he's going to push an update very soon to fix it again. One of my favourite things to do in Breath of the Wild is go shield sledding, but in VR, if the shield breaks, you end up being left rolling around on the floor, but a quick save and a reload sorts this out. For me though, the biggest improvement so far is the combat. It was before very hit and miss, and still today some strikes you make just go through the enemy. But as I said, you can genuinely play this from beginning to end, either fighting in 6th or using the trigger to stab. And I would say your hits probably register a good 8 out of 10 times. Grabbing weapons and bows off your back now feels natural, and if you hold down the grip button where your items are stored, it opens up a menu, so you can either swap your type of arrows, your bows, or your Sheikah slate abilities. Now for me, I feel this is very important, because before you had to open up the menu for everything you wanted to do, but now it feels like more of a native VR game just by this one simple change of holding the grip buttons. Overall though, I do feel if you are a native VR gamer, it will take some time to get used to, because most of us, I think, actually hold the grip button to hold weapons in VR versus a toggle grip. But I would say after about 20 to 30 minutes, I was playing this game absolutely fine. Bow aiming, which I personally love to do in this game, game has also been completely reworked. So now you have proper bow-based aiming with consistent arrow physics across every bow type. There is an optional aiming arc which you can turn on if you want, or you can leave it off for some fuller immersion, but I kind of liked the arc. Bomb throwing works well enough, parrying feels satisfying, and weapon swings now have proper profiles. So if you fully commit to a swing in VR, it does more damage than say a slower one. Trees are fully cuttable, magnesis and other runes no longer require you to look off center to get them to work, making the temples now actually really fun. And the last thing on the list is the ladder climbing, which I found pretty frustrating the first time I played it, but now you can jump up and down the ladders absolutely fine. The menus are much better and show your actual controller buttons, text size is consistent, and there's a full real-time settings menu, so you don't have to restart the game every time you want to tweak something, and the modder has added controller support for Pico 4, HP Mixed Reality, and the Vive Cosmos. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, after 6 months, I feel Breath of the Wild VR is very close to what we could consider not just a VR mod, but nearly a native VR game. If you're okay with jumping in right now, there is the occasional jank, which obviously comes with any ambitious VR mod that's not actually done by Nintendo themselves, but I genuinely feel this is a fully playable and often magical experience. Everything combined, from the combat, the way the bows work, the way the menus work, just makes this absolutely unforgettable for me, and I'm having a blast playing through it. If you're looking for links on how to get this mod working, head to the Flat2VR Discord in this video description.